to school right now, and this is an important conversation that we all need to have, okay? So in your Health Matters today, we want to talk about this recent trend of disturbing threats of school shootings and bombings, even weapons, being brought on campus. And this is creating such an important need for a conversation with our kids. Licensed professional clinical counselor Viola Ward is joining us to talk about the underlying reasons that these threats are being made and the impacts it is having on our kids, even our faculty members at school. Thank you so much for coming in and talking about this. I mean, even me personally have been stunned to see the vast number of threats going on. And again, not just in an area, this is a nationwide problem.
True, absolutely.
What do you think that says about the times that we're living in right now?
I would say that our youth are screaming out for help, right? I don't think that any young person is making any threat of violence without a need for support, right? They are saying, help, something is going on with me and I need some additional support to get through whatever I'm experiencing in my life, right? I think there is a call to action here, right? There's an opportunity. I think we have to start having some conversations. I definitely think this is a challenge, but I think there's an opportunity to meet with these kiddos, approach them on a subjective basis, not like a one-size-fits-all thing, but meet with them individually. What do you need might be a question that we start with, right? It's really imperative to find out what's going on, find out what challenges each of these kiddos are facing, and come together so that we can meet the needs of our community.
Well, I mean, the big component is social media, right?
Absolutely.
You know, you feel so protected when you're making these threats through the screen, on a phone or whatever, because you feel like you have that anonymity, right?
True.
Is that what you think, why kids are doing this? Because they think that they can get away with it, right? Well, we're seeing that it's not happening right now because we've seen arrests.
True.
Yeah.
I think there is an anonymity that comes along with social media. I think that has just been a given in the last generation. I will say though that whether or not social media is at play, I think these things are going to be needing to be addressed, right? If it's just threats in the playground, if social media is not a part of it, it still needs to be talked about, right? We still need to take action. I think that social media is a component, and that's definitely a part of this conversation, but I think we definitely have to talk about mental health. We have to talk about the underlying features of why kids are having challenges that make them want to make violent threats and have anger and have things that they have built up that they're wanting to get out and project at other people.
And that starts in the home, right?
It definitely
counselors
does.
can do so much at school, but really the conversation has to be held with parents. What do you recommend for a parent watching right now do today with their kids when they get home from school saying, hey, let's talk about this?
Yeah, I think that what you just said is absolutely the first step, right? I think that parents, and I'm a parent as well, we have to have conversations with our kiddos. And I think our approach is really integral, right? I don't think that approaching it in a punitive way is the best way, like, what's going on? Why are you acting like this? That can be our first impulse because we're worried, right? But I think that approaching our children and acknowledging that they have thoughts and challenges and feelings, approaching them in a way that we actually hear them is really integral, right? Finding out what they're experiencing, finding out what's going on in their lives, having active and ongoing communication with them, not just when things are startling, is really important so that we can know what's going on in their lives and have an impact, right? We need to hear them as much as we want them to hear us, and I think that's really important.
Absolutely, and when they make threats online, they have to know the consequences. They have to know that it's not okay. It's not okay, and then get help if you need it. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Again, such an important conversation, but we appreciate you coming in our studio to do this.
Absolutely, we're in this together, and I just want our community to remember that.
Absolutely. All right. Genevieve.